Everyone's favorite and not so favorite fugitive is back in the news. Former RECC president was in court and nearly 30 neglected dogs were confiscated in a Johnson County roundup. And it all happened this week. Welcome everyone to This Week. I'm Sean Allen. For the next half hour, we'll catch you up on news you may have missed and give you updates on the week that was in your hometown. A federal judge has sentenced Eric C. Kahn to the maximum sentence he faced, 12 years in prison. But the fugitive former disability attorney wasn't there to hear it. Sentencing was held for Kahn in U.S. District Court in Lexington Friday. Kahn was also ordered to pay nearly $170 million in restitution, a $50,000 fine, and $5.7 million of forfeiture judgments. But while Kahn's whereabouts are still unknown, U.S. District Judge Danny Reeves chose to deliver the sentence anyway. Despite the unusual circumstances of sentencing, Kahn's attorney says he has no complaints.
I have not. I've had clients who've run before, but they generally are found within a day or two, but nothing like this. And I think the court even mentioned that it was new for his court, and I think that's why he was so careful about how he proceeded. He absolutely did it 100% correct. And so from our perspective, we have zero complaints.
Kahn pleaded guilty in March to theft and bribery. The admission came as part of a plea deal with the government to resolve an indictment charging Kahn with conspiracy, fraud, and other charges related to a scheme to defraud the Social Security Administration. Now, however, he could still face those charges as well as new ones because he violated that plea agreement. He was awaiting sentencing when he escaped from house arrest June 2nd. Since that time, the FBI has initiated a nationwide manhunt for Kahn. White says he was surprised to hear from his client via email this morning. White only revealed that Kahn had nothing to say concerning his sentence. A $20,000 reward remains for information leading to Kahn's arrest. Immediately after his sentencing, the FBI released new information about Kahn's escape, including new photos taken of Kahn in New Mexico. FBI Special Agent in Charge Amy Hess revealed Kahn fled in a truck registered to a dummy company in Montana. That truck was later found in New Mexico near the Mexican border. However, Hess said the truck was left for authorities to find and there was no evidence at all that he actually crossed the border. The FBI's statement directly contradicts a statement made to the Lexington Herald-Leader by a person claiming to be Kahn. In a series of emails to that newspaper, that person claimed he had left the country the same day that he escaped. The emails also included claims that Kahn is now living and working in a country that has no extradition treaty with the United States. A pair of Pike County men each received a 15-year sentence Thursday in Floyd Circuit Court. 26-year-old Jonathan Weddington and 23-year-old Tanner Spears pleaded guilty to 3 counts of adult kidnapping, 2 counts of first-degree robbery, and 2 counts of theft by unlawful taking over $10,000 in connection to a pair of 2014 Floyd County robberies, one occurring at a Corn Fork residence and the other on the Mountain Parkway, where the victims, an elderly couple, were tied up and robbed after Spears and Weddington forced their way into their home. Floyd County Commonwealth Attorney Brent Turner says although the Commonwealth is pleased with the outcome of the case, it is more pleased with how the victims feel about the outcome.
The most important thing to us is the elderly couple that were the victims in this case that so many people are aware of. This was great news to them. They really wanted to see the case resolved and have the guys go and serve their time and not have to be brought into court and drug back through all this if we could do it. They were prepared to go to trial if they had to, but nobody really wants to if you don't have to.
Both Weddington and Spears will have to serve 85% of their 10-year sentences before becoming eligible for parole. We will soon learn whether or not former Prestonsburg Mayor Jerry Fannin will stand trial to answer an accusation that he stole money from the city that he once governed. Fannin faces a single federal charge of theft for allegedly diverting city money and services to the former East Kentucky Drillers football franchise. He was ordered to undergo a competency evaluation after his attorney said the former mayor is unable to assist in his own defense due to a debilitating mental defect following a series of strokes. A copy of the psychiatric report has been filed with court under seal. A competency hearing has been scheduled for Monday in Pikeville, but the U.S. Attorney's Office has filed a motion for that hearing to take place the following week. Former RECC President David Estep was in Johnson District Court Monday as his attorney made argument to have a charge of theft against him dismissed.
One of the arguments that his attorney made was that the victim of the matter is the owner of the property, the owner of the petition, and that he is the one that has to come in to file the complaint. Under Kentucky law, that's not the case. Anyone who is witness to a crime can come in and file a complaint. The fact that the petition may not have any intrinsic value, i.e., a price for it. If you have your house burglarized and a keepsake is taken, it may not have any intrinsic value, but it may mean a lot to a person. So if you want to go into an esoteric argument, you're stealing the voice of the people that have signed that petition.
The charges against Estep stem from an incident in April when video surveillance footage at Wildcat Grocery in Flat Gap shows Estep taking a petition from that store, a petition that was calling for his replacement. Word spread quickly about the incident, and the petition was delivered to the Johnson County Sheriff's Office the following day. No decision was made that day on Monday, as the attorneys in the case were given additional time to submit additional information requested by the judge. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office was on the scene of a massive animal rescue in Flat Gap Tuesday as they worked through the details and obtained medical attention for around 30 dogs. Reporter Shannon Deskins brings us the story.
I don't have any food. No, I don't. No, I don't. I wish I did, but I don't.
This afternoon, after receiving an anonymous tip reporting several dogs which appeared to be malnourished and in poor health, the Johnson County Sheriff's Office seized more than 30 dogs from a residence on Little Laurel Creek in the Flat Gap community.
When I arrived on scene, I seen the little dog sitting over here that's brown with the red collar, and I already could tell it's within the 1 to 3 fat range, which means it's going to need to go to a vet.
Deputy Tussey, who is the designated animal control officer for the department, told EKB News that once the owner knew he was facing multiple counts of animal cruelty, he agreed to cooperate with the investigation.
He's going to voluntarily surrender the animals for me, which means that it'll move a lot faster. If he voluntarily surrender them, that means we can move faster and get the dogs help and get them to a foster home and get them adopted out.
It was an anonymous tip to the Sheriff's Office that led to today's investigation. Deputy Tussey says as much as they try to patrol all of Johnson County, they still rely on the public to be their extra eyes and ears.
Please call us and we can do what we can to get these animals help. Like I said, this is one call that actually came through that was a true tip.
32 dogs were taken to the Johnson County Animal Shelter. Officials there say many of the dogs will require vet care, and it will more than likely be several days before they will be ready for adoption. Reporting from Flat Gap in Johnson County, I'm Shannon Deskins for EKB News.
A Letcher County man is dead after being swept away in a current in the Atlantic Ocean. EKB News reporter Chris Anderson has the story.
24-year-old Richard Mullins Jr. of Jenkins died Sunday after a rip current carried him into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Holden Beach, North Carolina. Mullins was swimming with several other people when the group was taken in the current Sunday afternoon. The other swimmers were rescued. Mullins was found dead late Sunday evening by a passerby on the beach, near where he had been swept away. His body was found after an extensive search and rescue operation had been conducted. Mullins' father, also named Richard Mullins, announced his son's death in a Facebook post late Sunday.
I can't imagine heartbreaking to get the news of something like that happened to one of your kids, but to be 11-hour drive away, and his dad has disabilities as well. I don't know if his dad can even drive now or not, and he was extremely upset.
John Wyatt, a family friend of the Mullins family, said Richard Jr. had moved to the Holden Beach area in search of a new start.
Richard Jr. the deceased was a wonderful young man. I was real close to him. He hung out with my kids, distant cousins of his, when he was teenage years, and very talented welder. He was a talented tattoo artist. He had left here, my understanding is, he had left here with a friend and was going to make Holden Beach his home and get a job there and settle down and put some of the issues here behind him that most all teenagers have, you know, as we're growing up, and was looking for a new start in life. And it's real sad, enjoying the day on the beach, and tragically, you know, something like this happened.
A tragic end to the life of a young man looking to start anew.
Just can't comprehend the sadness that family's feeling.
In Jenkins, Chris Anderson, EKB News.
Coming up, officials urge drivers to be extra cautious on a short but dangerous section of US 23. That's coming up next on This Week.
Pikeville Medical Center's vision services now include an optometry clinic. In partnership with the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Optometry, PMC provides diagnosis and treatment of eye conditions for the whole family. The optometry clinic is conveniently located on the 9th floor of the PMC clinic. Schedule an appointment today. Call 606-218-2209. Pikeville Medical Center, providing quality eye care to the region.
Drivers, start your engine! Load up the family and head on over to the Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. Lonesome Pine Raceway has brought excitement to race fans for 45 years and is NASCAR sanctioned. Gates open at 4 p.m. on race days with races beginning at 7 p.m. Admission is $10 adults and children under 12 free. Lonesome Pine Raceway, Coburn, Virginia. Visit thepineraceway.com for race information.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls. But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
I used to think news is news. It's all the same. But it's not. There's a big difference between local broadcast news and cable news. See, local stations are part of my community, connecting me to local news, weather, and sports on every device. It makes sense. Get the news from the people I trust who actually live here. No agenda, no bias like on cable shout shows or social media, just facts. For news I can trust, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text TV to 52886 today.
A section of US 23 in Prestonsburg has seen an increase in businesses as well as traffic crashes over the years, causing much concern to those who frequently travel the area. I had the opportunity to talk to county and state officials about the issue, and here's what they had to say. Residents in Prestonsburg are concerned over the high volume of crashes on a section of US 23 between the 23 and 80 intersection and Kentucky 3384 Town Branch Road. Although many solutions to the problem have been offered over the past few years, officials say much of the solution falls on those traveling the highway.
A lot of the car wrecks that's happened here has been determined to be a lot of operator error. But there are the occasional under the influence drivers, intoxicated drivers from drugs or alcohol as well. People disregarding vehicles as they're passing by, people pulling out in front of vehicles, and with today's times, even so much as looking at cell phones, not paying attention to the road basically. This is a very busy stretch of road. Just always be observant. Stay away from cell phones, focus on driving.
Officials with Highway District 12 are reiterating much of what local law enforcement are already saying, but taking it just a step further. In a statement issued by the chief engineer of Highway District 12, Mary Westfall Holbrook, she says they are studying crash data and analyzing potential engineering approaches to increase safety on this stretch of US 23. She urges drivers to slow down in this area, Stay alert for vehicles entering and exiting the highway, making sure to use turn signals at all times. And of course, always wear your seatbelt and make sure everyone in your vehicle does the same. Reporting from Prestonsburg, I'm Sean Allen for EKB News. Coming up, Michaela Colley will be in with sports, but first, Lathan Hopkins will be in with a look back at the weekend weather. Stay with us. We'll be right back on This Week.
Pikeville Medical Center's vision services now include an optometry clinic. In partnership with the University of Pikeville, Kentucky College of Optometry, PMC provides diagnosis and treatment of eye conditions for the whole family. The optometry clinic is conveniently located on the 9th floor of the PMC clinic. Schedule an appointment today. Call 606-218-2209. Pikeville Medical Center, providing quality eye care to the region.
In times of joy, in moments of grief, we are there. When the world looks for truth, broadcasters come through, even when all else fails. Today, with more ways than ever to experience the moments that transform our lives, Americans still choose broadcast television and radio more than all other media combined. Television and radio are still the most trusted sources for news and entertainment. And our web and social sites are among the most visited sites in our daily lives. When important moments happen, both big and small, we're the first informers to history. We are the pioneers, the innovators, the local broadcasters of radio and television, reaching more people, touching more lives.
Drivers, start your engine! Load up the family and head on over to the Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. Lonesome Pine Raceway has brought excitement to race fans for 45 years and is NASCAR sanctioned. Gates open at 4 p.m. on race days with races beginning at 7 p.m. Admission is $10 adults and children under 12 free. Lonesome Pine Raceway, Coburn, Virginia. Visit thepineraceway.com for race information.
Welcome back into This Week on EKB TV. I'm Chief Meteorologist Lathan Hopkins with a look back at your week in weather. And hazy, hot, and humid. The only three words you need to know about this past week. Summertime officially made its way into eastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, western West Virginia with high temperatures several days, at least 85 degrees, if not above 90 in some locations. Monday, 86, 85 on Tuesday. Hit and miss showers and thunderstorms midweek through Friday. But look at those temperatures. 90 degrees high on Wednesday, 90 degrees, a trace of rain on Thursday, trace of rain again on Friday. Some of us picking up a little more rain. Heat index values climbing to near 100 degrees, especially on Friday. Again, as we head into next week, we are talking about dealing with some heat and humidity with high temperatures back in the 90s by this coming Thursday and Friday. Let's head over to Michaela Colley with a look back in sports.
Now, if you didn't know, football season was around the corner, and it's time to wake up because the gridiron is calling. Hey everyone, I'm Michaela Colley. Let's take a look back at This Week in Sports, beginning with a little football action. This week, the University of Pikeville football team held their annual 7-on-7 passing camp at the Hambly Athletic Complex, where head coach Al Holland Jr. and the coaching staff hosted 12 teams in a 7-on-7 passing showdown.
It's our 7-on-7 passing camp, and we got 12 different teams here representing 10 different high schools, so it's big for us as coaches being able to evaluate kids, get to watch them play, early evaluation for us before we put the pads on and get to go out and watch them play this fall. But you know, as coaches, and the kids really love it. They get to come out and compete. Coaches get to install their playbooks, and they get to work on the little things before they really get into the pads and getting ready to go for the season. So it's been big. It's big on both ends, not only just for us at UPike, but for each one of these high schools. But you know, you got a lot of mountain teams here, and then you got some teams from West Virginia that's came over, so a lot of great talent, and it's great to watch these kids go out and compete every single game today.
On the college scene, the 2017 SEC Media Days took place this week, and the Kentucky Wildcats took center stage in Hoover, Alabama on Wednesday. Head coach Mark Stoops is entering year number 5 with the Wildcats this season, and they're looking to improve on last season's 7-6 record, which gave Kentucky their first winning record in 7 years. This season, Kentucky returned 17 starters. Here's Coach Stoops' thoughts on this season.
It's an exciting time of year. I'm excited about our football team. I'm excited about our season. It's really nice to come in here year 5 and build with some positive momentum that we had a year ago. A year ago we did not start the season the way we wanted to, but we finished strong, winning 7 of our 10 regular season games, and to build on that positive momentum, to go to the Tax Slayer Bowl, to have those extra practices meant a great deal to our program.
Major League Baseball's biggest names took the field in the 88th edition of the MLB All-Star Game. The American League got the best of the National League 2-1, as the American League and the National League are now tied at 43 all-time wins in the All-Star Game and tied the All-Star Game runs scored at 361. How about that? The Reds were represented in the starting lineup with shortstop Zach Cozart taking the field. Here's what he had to say about his first All-Star experience.
Man, it was awesome to be out there with those guys. We're giving fist pumps to going down the line. I'm like, man, these are the best players in the game, and to be starting out there, it was just fun, just really fun.
It was a big week in sports. Be sure to tune back in next week and stay right here. Sean Allen will be right back after this for more news from This Week.
Pikeville Medical Center is hosting a community health fair in observance of World Hepatitis Day, Friday, July 28th from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. at the Mark II at the Landmark Hotel Complex in Pikeville. Free screenings include hepatitis, HIV, blood pressure, vision, peripheral vascular disease, body mass index, foot, hearing, glucose, COPD, and cholesterol. 4-hour fasting is required for cholesterol. For more information, call 218-4509.
Drivers, start your engine! Load up the family and head on over to the Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. Lonesome Pine Raceway has brought excitement to race fans for 45 years and is NASCAR sanctioned. Gates open at 4 p.m. on race days with races beginning at 7 p.m. Admission is $10 adults and children under 12 free. Lonesome Pine Raceway, Coburn, Virginia. Visit thepineraceway.com for race information.
East Kentucky Broadcasting salutes our first responders and local officials for their handling of the recent demonstrations in Pikeville. When neo-Nazi white supremacists and anti-fascist outsiders arrived, they were met with a well-organized and executed plan. We allowed them to exercise their rights, but also ensured that no civil unrest or violence took place. We're proud to be headquartered in Pikeville, Kentucky. EKB, your truly local news source.
There is a musical tradition here unlike anywhere else in America. During this week, we shine a light on part of that musical tradition. So now sit back, relax, and enjoy our mountain music.
It's time now for Mountain Music, being brought to you by the Mountain Arts Center, the main stage of the Country Music Highway.
We write a lot of songs that maybe the subject matter isn't really suited for what little girls maybe ought not talk about. That's why our debut album is called Little Girls Acting Like Men. And we're getting ready to do another record, and we have a kind of a gospel album in the works. and we're trying to raise a little bit of money for it. So if you don't have a Little Girls Acting Like Men CD, you can go on our website. It's thelocalhoneys.com. The is very critical.
Long-tailed car just about to take old straw hat, more prim than crown, pair of socks that you wear the whole year round, threadbare socks you wear the whole year round.
It wasn't until we both got into college, we went to Morehead State University, and we really got into playing regional music, and we take a lot of our influence from people around here, like John Haywood and Doc Boggs and Paul David Smith and Jesse Wells have been really important to us in learning how to preserve this music, not only learning how to play it, but learning how to preserve it.
First they'll say that your dad should have bear, then they'll say when they sit down, honey, can you bake them Johnny cakes brown? Honey, can you bake them Johnny cakes brown?
I don't think there's any people in the world that are as proud as Kentuckians. And we do have a whole lot to be proud of, and I am extremely proud of our music and the home music that has been instilled here and preserved and created here. I mean, we still have chart-topping artists like Chris Stapleton and Sturgill Simpson that are just controlling country music, and they're doing a great job of letting our voices be heard through their music.
Well, I guess we originally learned our version of Come All You Kentucky Gals from one of our favorite musicians. She was a prominent female in the early days of radio. She went by Cousin Emmy. She's from Barron County, Kentucky, and she could play about 15 different instruments, and she kind of made you believe that anything could become an instrument. She'd play the rubber glove, and she could play banjo and fiddle and all these different things, and she was a great singer and one of the best entertainers that I have seen in early recordings and video. There is some video of her.
That is the way of the West Virginia race. So come all you Kentucky gals and listen to my noise. Don't you go courting no West Virginia boys. If you do, fortune will be Johnny cakes and venison and sassafras tea. Johnny cakes and venison and sassafras tea.
Coming up next, we'll fill you in on a few happenings in your area as we take a look at the week ahead. Stay with us. We'll be right back on This Week.
Pikeville Medical Center has earned the Joint Commission's Gold Seal of Approval and the American Heart Association and American Stroke Association's Heart Check Mark for advanced certification for primary stroke centers. This marks the 8th consecutive year for this honor. PMC demonstrates commitment to the care of stroke patients with a complex set of standards and requirements. Count on Pikeville Medical Center for quality stroke care. Pikeville Medical Center, proud Mayo Clinic Care Network member.
Drivers, start your engine!
Load up the family and head on over to the Lonesome Pine Raceway in Coburn, Virginia. Lonesome Pine Raceway has brought excitement to race fans for 45 years and is NASCAR sanctioned. Gates open at 4 p.m. on race days with races beginning at 7 p.m. Admission is $10 adults and children under 12 free. Lonesome Pine Raceway, Coburn, Virginia. Visit thepineraceway.com for race information.
Hi, I'm EKB News reporter Shelby Still. I grew up in the Belfry area of Pike County and graduated from Belfry High School. I moved just across the river to Williamston, West Virginia. I stayed close to home because I wanted to bring my neighbors and my friends the news that mattered most to them. I'm Shelby Steele, and this is EKB News, your only source for truly local news.
You want news, weather, and sports that matter to you. That's why EKB and LEX18 have teamed up to make sure you get what you need. I'm Nancy Cox, inviting you to watch weekdays at 5:30, 7, and 11 to make sure you know what's going on, not just at home, but in Frankfort and Lexington. It's a powerful partnership. LEX18 News and EKB News.
Here's an upcoming event that you may be interested in. The Remote Area Medical Wise Health Expedition will take place Friday, July 21st through Sunday, July 23rd at the Virginia-Kentucky District Fair in Wise. Free dental, medical, and eye care will all be provided. For more information, you can contact the number listed on your screen. I hope you enjoyed our look back at some of the stories that made headlines this week. Be sure to tune in next weekend at 6:30 p.m. right here on EKB TV. For This Week, I'm Sean Allen. Have a great weekend.